Up and running, up and gunning. Sticky Stocky Sweet TV, Keith Gargan. Keith Gargan Entertainment TV. We up. Anyway, there's also something from this Beverly Anderson, Beverly Manley. Because me call her the really Iron Lady for the PNP. Iron Lady for Michael Manley. Because that woman do a lot. That woman do a lot, you know. Believe you me. She really do a lot. No joke about that. For Jamaica. All them woman equal right and things like that. Maternity leave and things like that. And them woman they really bring it in, you know. She do a lot for Jamaican woman. She do a lot for Jamaican woman. And try to do the best. She stand up. Some just call her the Jamaican PNP. And you could call her not even the PNP, Jamaican Iron Lady. Because if she do it, she not just do it for PNP woman. She do it for every woman because it's a woman like that. Well, other people not really talk about that, you know. They not talk about greatness, you know. And the reason I talk that, you see that woman there, when we used to work at JBC as a little youth, right? As a little youth, you know, me have buy star for that woman there from Wodian Avenue. Because JBC have a little guango, not a little guango, a big guango tree with some benches where people just sit down and chill out. All of them people work at JBC. Miss Lou and the whole of them time there, you know. Because you have television over here, so, and you have radio over there, so. Right? Them time the Oliver Samuels did I go drama school and things like that, and him work there as well. Him go drama school and come and work. Remember them days there? So Beverly did all the while me just buy the star, me just buy star for her. Me get a chain from her as well. But yeah, so me know her before, I talk about before Manley married her. But them was good at court them time there. But as I'm saying, she do a lot of good things. The Jamaican woman, especially woman them. But they don't remember that. Them not read them history and things like that. So when we see them little things, them have to really bring it across, you know, and talk about it. Because she's a real woman. Trust me. And you know, I talk about them things as well, and boy, boom, I know them people personally. Because you know, the same thing, you have then you have housing. You can just walk through JBC and go over housing. PJ Patterson himself is a commoner, so he used to have a Fiat, park in a little garage you drive in, and come burn a cigarette sometime, lunchtime. Yeah, man. Or Minister of Housing. So in the end of the day, this woman here do a lot for Jamaican, especially Jamaican woman, because she, at that kind of job she take up, for debate on woman issue. But a lot of them not really give her no thanks for it. But a lot of them, enough of them is in the parliament, the PNP. But the same thing, you know, what PNP do for these people, they don't remember, you know. Them get free education. Enough of them in them job and lawyer, free education them get. I know the Labour Party do that. Labour Party take with that. But you know, them are go on like say, well then, but you see, God not sleep. But all me can do, me say, well then, you know, me just carry this. I remind people that this woman is an iron lady. Yeah, man. So where you are going? Here goes. Boom.
Look like we have somebody there who can really talk for us in a particular kind of way. First thing I said, I need to have an office. Prime Minister's wives don't have offices. You know, that's what I was told.
Most importantly, she advocates strongly for women and eventually becomes the leader of the PNP women's movement in 1979.
All those laws you see for women, all the change that were made for women, you know, Beverly was part of taking the genie out of the bottle. You can't put it back in. Before the 70s, Jamaicans were in a way very unsure of who they were. They had been colonized. We were left with this ghastly middle class system that was all mixed up with who was colored, who was fairer, who was darker, who was this and that. That was the curse, the albatross that was lifted off of us. That was the genie that was let out of the bottle, that freedom. And she was step by step beside my father in opening that door. Absolutely. I'm not saying my father wouldn't have done it without her. I don't know. We'll never know. But she was with him and she was part of it. And I think her greatest legacy, giving Jamaican women great pride.
The Jamaican woman now has a sense of self, which she did not have before. And by this I mean just a pride and a dignity, just a feeling that here am I, a Jamaican woman, and I'm equal.
When I think of feminism, I think of the ways in which it was constructed by white women in the North. And therefore, some of the issues that they would take to international conferences, many of which I attended, would have to do with, there's one car in the garage and it belongs to the man and I get to borrow it sometimes. Why don't we have two cars so the woman can have one? That could be an issue. For most of us who came from the developing world, we were thinking about how can we bring women, particularly the marginalized women who make up the bulk of the population of our countries, how can we bring them into the conversation? How can we bring them in so that maybe what they need is a minimum, just a wage, a minimum wage, not even aware that, you know, that is something they should have. I remember, for example, when we were doing the maternity leave law, for many of the women who were going to benefit from the maternity leave law, they didn't even think it was possible for them. And this was in the 1970s. So one of the first tasks we had to do almost on a one-on-one basis was, you deserve this. Why do I deserve it? And you don't deserve it. Any middle class or upper middle class woman who wanted to get an abortion for her child could get it. But it was illegal, but she could get it. What happened to the working class women is that, you know, they just had to have the babies. And that included whether they were raped or not. So feminism for us was really, at the essence of it, equality. And so part of my duty is to support women. After years of being an advocate for women's rights, after years of just knowing my power, even when I thought I had it before, I know I have it now. I really have it. So you have to start out by knowing who you are. Not what anybody tell you, you know. You need to know deep down inside, who am I? And when you know that and you drop the pretenses, because a number of us live our lives through a pretense, a capital P. You're walking into a room, how do I want? You're saying to yourself, I wonder how I want them to see me this morning. You're not thinking the real of me would really like to say to them that it's people like you who help to hold women back. But you don't say that. You come into the room and you play a game. Hi, nice to see you. You don't feel your power enough to know you can say what you really want to say and live. It's okay, but you have to be at a certain level, and I started economic independence. I'm not saying to any woman who can't look after herself economically to do this. I'm saying to women across the social classes who know they have the power, made equally by God, man and woman, children of God, everybody, man and woman, that you have it. You don't have to go look for it, you know. You have it inside here. And it's up to you to live your life, do the research, be in the right kind of group where you can really be you. That time, even if the man is a big thing, he can't touch you. He want to touch you. I can't touch you, I mean to beat you. Can't beat you. Because to get the beating, you have to be down there. Once you stand up, he dare not beat you. I remember they used to accuse both husbands of beating me. And Michael used to say, I beg you, if anybody beat anybody, it's Beverly beating me. I never did beat him. I never beat DK either. But they could never even think about that. Do anything, but don't you even think it. Not that women are susceptible to being beaten. But if you are seen for who you really are as a powerful woman, men will definitely hesitate before they put their hand on you. Because that was another thing I grew up with from my mother. No man must put his hand on you. And if he does, that is when you leave. You don't wait for the second one. Even if him cry and says a mistake, you gone. Just very strong on that. So that was part of my socialization.
Yeah, that's why she's a real iron lady for the PNP party. And also the Jamaican woman them. Anyway, let's take a break and come back.
This is Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gargan. Good, healthy food with the X Factor. So give it a like, share, subscribe, and touch up that notification bell. And that is it. Look at that.
I feel as strongly about it as I think he would have felt about it. Let me tell you why. Here it is, you have what is tantamount to a civil war in the 1970s. Okay. Ideologically, Manley and Seaga could not be further apart. But what a lot of people don't know, that at a personal level, they didn't talk to each other. After that promise Seaga made about the voting list and he would not have any more elections, whatever, and he did not keep his promise, I don't think they ever spoke at all. My memory of it is that he spoke to Seaga when Seaga was Prime Minister through Hugh Shearer. If he wanted to say anything to Seaga, he would say it to Shearer to take a message to Seaga. And Shearer was fine with that role, and that's how they, quote-unquote, communicated. So short answer to your question is, I think he would have been nauseated by it. And I'm nauseated by it because if you are really authentic about unity, you don't just put the two man opposing people on a currency note. You start a process at a grassroots level. And you say, this is about truth, reconciliation, whatever you have to call it. And then maybe after a while and the conversations that take place and people get to listen to each other, because right now it's very hard. The two tribes cannot listen to each other. Then you could get to a stage where you say, oh, time now. You know, the Michael Manley, I knew. I don't know what he was like in his fifth marriage. I can only speak for my marriage to him. Would not have liked it. The one I knew would have seen it as hypocritical and inauthentic. Those are the two words that come to mind. Remember, this thing was tried with Bob Marley, you know.
Yes.
I was sitting there, live. The tension in place, tension plus excitement plus exhilaration, you know. And the two men go on stage. I would say reluctantly. Certainly for Michael it was reluctant. And he put the hands together. So what? So what? You don't have that top-down thing. You have to have a thing on the ground, and then it takes Jamaica even further along the way and so on. I'd be interested to know how Mitzi and her children feel about this. Because although we were in opposing camps, we do have a relationship. I haven't spoken to her. But I don't want to go any further with it. I have to just say that Sarah and Natasha have put a statement on Facebook.
So Mr. Shearer was the postman between Michael and Eddie.
Oh, give him a bigger title than that.
Oh, no.
I don't know how he did what he did, but he did. Because he and Michael got on very well.
I know.
Probably know.
I know. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it was under the PNP government that the $5,000 note came out with Shearer on
I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes. And there was no problem.
Well, there's
No problem at all. Right.
It's just silly. It's like little boys playing games, you know.
Yes.
I think it's just such a pity. And that the Bank of Jamaica, they should have been dragged into it. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's their idea. I don't know. It's an independent bank. You know, into this kind of drama. And there's so many things that are happening in the country today, you see, let me tell you. After what? Almost 50 years of what we call struggle. And advocating on behalf of the most marginalized in Jamaica. Because that's what the PNP was founded for. If you look at our founding documents, that's what it says.
Yes.
We are here through an alliance of classes to cater to the most marginalized in the society. And 50 years later, a number of people are still marginalized. I don't even know, because I haven't heard a government person put it out that kind of stark way to say, look, we're going to have a food security program, we're going to have no matter how bad things are now, we're going to have to face some other realities,
Right.
and we can get through it. But somebody has to be leading this
Yes.
and caring.
Yes.
If a new $2,000 note is needed, that is fine. Put Mr. Siaga on the $2,000 note.
Yeah, put him on.
But leave Michael Manley on the $1,000 note.
They agree with Mark Golding's position.
I am all for putting Eddie Siaga on any bill.
Okay. Okay.
Any bill.
Okay.
Who the government has that right, they can put him on a bill, $50,000 bill, any
Yes.
bill.
Yes.
But you know, Michael is already on the $1,000 bill. Leave that. Maybe later on, depending on how we decide to heal as a nation,
Right.
they can come together.
Right.
Maybe 4 people can come together. I don't know.
Yes.
It's not a bother for me there, but it's just the lack of consultancy, the lack of even just picking up a phone and saying to Mark Golding, we're planning to this. Can you come back to us so he could at least talk to his people about it?
Right.
While you're doing that, we're going to be talking to the family. Just something, but I happen to be watching, that
Yes.
when Nigel announced it. Unfortunately, a friend was here with me. And it always just went,
Okay, so you were knowing about it.
didn't have a clue, and not that I think I
Just
have a right
right.
to have
Understood.
a clue. Let me make that
Understood.
very clear.
Understood.
And then last night somebody called to tell me that it was going the rounds in JLP circles in Montego Bay. That I was the one who gave consent.
Majesty, and we no war, no devil philosophy. Not until color of a man's skin is of no more significant well to the color of his eye. Remember all the war done in 1935.